Coming at you straight from the depths of the Batcave, it's the MONDO 6th scale Batman the Animated Series Batman action figure. Yep, not gonna lie, this is pretty darn cool. So today's action figure review has been made possible by JC from over at Toy News International. He was kind enough to chuck this in the mail for me so that I could have a chance to review it. So thank you very much. The website is an excellent source of news concerning all things action figures, and the forum is a great place to meet new people and engage in conversations about the toy lines and products that you love. Now, if you know me, then you know that I love simplistic box art. And in this case, we have a basic black and yellow motif, obviously with some blue thrown in there for Batman, but we still have a very basic color motif, and as you can see, it's incredibly effective. All the words and imagery just jump right off the box no matter what side you're looking at. When you open up the window box on the one side, you can see exactly what you get on the inside of the package, and on the other there's this nifty write-up. Reports of a huge bat creature the size of a man. Remind you of anybody? And so when you manage to crack Batman out of his shell, this is what you get. Oh yeah, and the base and the piece that sticks into the base. Okay, let's do that first. The base of the stand looks really cool. It's that classic geometrical Batman symbol, and you just plug this piece in like that. Booyah! And then you have an action figure stand. And now let's look at all the rest of the accessories, and as you can see, there are a lot of them. He also comes with these two interchangeable heads, the smirking face and the teeth-gritting violent in the middle of a fight face. And you've got the different tones of blue throughout, painted to highlight. Same thing with the flesh. The flesh starts regular, and then you've also got the darker shades there, really trying to get that animated look, as well as 6 extra hands, or 3 different pairs in total. There's a left and right grapple gun hand, 2 grabbing hands in this kind of a pose. To me it looks like they're for grabbing, say, a batarang. And then he has 2 more simpler grabby hands without the finger extended. And he comes with a little thermos, presumably for mulligatawny soup. What much can you say about it? It looks like a thermos. There it is. He also comes with this gas mask accessory here, you can see, which was actually a fairly usual thing to see on the Batman the Animated Series. He probably used it a few times a season. It just fits over his face like that, so that he's ready to breathe in Joker's nauseous fumes, or Vicky Vale's after a night of Chinese food and chili. He comes with a little tiny cassette recorder, because that was the tech back then. We couldn't record on digital. It was just a little tape recorder. He comes with a little tiny bat grapple that, as you can see, the button hasn't been pressed, so the line hasn't been shot out. As well as one here that does have a length of line. How long is it? Let's see. I got a funny feeling this is going to be longer than my recording space. Yep. Yeah, definitely. Darn it! How do I show it? Here's the bat grapple. Here's the... Okay, you get the picture. It's long. Pretty long. There's Batman. He's 12 inches. Here's the line. It's off the screen. He also comes with this larger batarang accessory and this much smaller batarang accessory. So he comes with the 2 batarangs, and he also comes with this, which I don't rightly remember what it is. Is it a remote for the Batmobile? Is that what it was? I honestly don't remember. I saw almost every episode of Batman the Animated Series, and I just don't remember seeing this. I mean, it's been a long time, but honestly, if you know what this is, leave it down in the comment section below. I would love to know. And then we come to the figure itself, which is very cool looking. It looks pretty much like it jumped out of the television set from Batman the Animated Series. The sculpt and the body size, the scale, all looks absolutely fantastic. The paint apps go where they need to be, and there is very little paint slop with this figure. It's a very tidy looking action figure. Mondo has gone to using different colors of paint to signify the shadows and the highlights. So for example, Batman's utility belt, although it's yellow, it has some orange to shadow in around the capsules and the belt buckle, while Batman's boots, trunks, cape, gauntlets, and cowl all have a lighter blue to signify a little bit of light reflecting off of his suit. And then, of course, there's that strip of dark charcoal gray paint to signify where Batman's abs are. I know myself, I probably would not have chosen to go this route. I would have gone for just the solid lighter yellow and darker charcoal gray. Opting to put the lighter blue on the inside of the cape, I think that's a very good idea. But aside from that, this figure itself does an immaculate job of capturing the overall look of the animated series Batman. The articulation for this Bat Boy, you got the head, which is on a double ball peg, and, you know, it's alright. It looks up and down quite a bit, bobbles around, goes around 360, so that's the head articulation range. Shoulders are on that typical hinge swivel, which you see on a lot of action figure these days. Not a whole lot of upward motion, but you can make him pretend he's Superman. Whoosh. This Batman's got a very interesting form of double jointed elbows in the sense that, look at this, they rotate here, and they have one of their joints in the part that rotates, and the other one, see how it works like that? That's a very, and you can rotate it in like that. It's definitely very strange the way that it's put together, but it definitely works and does the job. He's got ball hinge wrists that swivel around and also go up and down. So there's a lot of movement there. He's got this weird janky torso articulation though. I mean, it moves. Yes, definitely it moves. But will it hold its... Oh, look at that. The whole thing came off. Yeah, it won't really hold much of a pose, so this is kind of useless as far as I'm concerned. And then he's got waist articulation to spin and to rotate, except for it doesn't, I mean, so from here to here, he's got like some movement that makes him, you know, kind of janky, but it doesn't really do a whole lot. Want to get him in that dynamic pose? Well, tough, you can't. Batman's groin clicks into place, and it goes out about that far, and you can see it's not a ball joint, it's more of a ball hinge inside of there. And it's one of them kind of doohickeys. Batman's articulation in the knees is all kinds of its own thing. For one, it can rotate here like this, and then it can also rotate below the knee here. It is a little stiff, but it does rotate. Plus, it's got double jointed knees. They fit in, I think the knees look good, but the question is how usable are they? Well, that's what it does. So it's a fairly kind of, you know, is what it is looking knee hinge that is definitely very limited. Like, you can't really get it to go past 90 degrees because there's so much leg meat in the back of his knee. So it's kind of cool for the rotation. However, it's definitely a strange sort of articulation that... I don't think it's definitely more useful than the torso, but still probably could be better. And then Batman has the ever popular hinged ankle pivots. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of movement and posability in the ankles. Ankle pivots are always a good thing. So as far as articulation, this Batman, as you can see, is a mixed bag of woohoo and status quo, and I'm not really sure what they were doing here. And I do want to point out at the end of the articulation segment that this Batman's ankles can definitely be weak and wibbly because this is such a large, top-heavy Batman. They want to go forward, and I find myself having to keep pushing them down and finding that perfect balance point. And that is going to be something that will drive a lot of you absolutely nuts. Stay. As for size comparison, look up, way up. You can see that the Mondo version is much, much bigger than the DC Collectibles version. Like, way bigger. Okay, so now that we've gone over all of that, the packaging, the paint apps, the sculpting detail, the articulation and posability, the real question is, could I myself, as the toy reviewer, suggest this to you as the consumer? Well, the answer to that is actually not that simple. If you just want a Bruce Timm animated Batman figure of this size to stick on a shelf and admire it from afar and go, oh yeah, there it is, and maybe get him in some very kind of basic poses while he's on top of this figure stand, which will hold him firmly in place from taking a tumble from your top shelf down to your floor and getting broken and scratched up, then this one is gonna be one that you'll probably want to pick up. However, if you're somebody who is a die-hard action figure photographer and you want to pick this guy up to take some rad shots to upload to your Instagram account,
this one might not be the one for you on account of the lack of real posability that he has. Oh sure, there's a fair amount in the arms and an okay amount in the legs, and he does have those ankle pivots. However, the torso itself is very rigid. I took off the cape off camera and I was really mucking about with it, and it is a very rigid figure with very little amount of posability in the torso. Add to that the fact that the double jointed knees are so beefy in the back, it's very difficult to get him into any real kind of dynamic, cool looking Batman-y action poses. And this figure, over the course of recording the video, his ankles began to get loose. And the problem with that is he's very top heavy, so he constantly wants to fall down on his face. And you and I both know as collectors that once they get that scratch on the tip of their nose, there's no more paint there, the face of the figure is pretty much ruined. And so if you want to admire this Batman on a shelf from afar, I would say yes, go for it. However, if you're looking for one with more articulation, this one might not be the one for you. However, if you are looking for this figure, you can find it at Big Bad Toy Store for $124. Now, if you think that's a lot of money, you should see how much this guy goes for on eBay from resellers. Oh my God! Scalpers, resellers, have you no soul? But with that, we are done the review. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. I really appreciate that. If you liked the video, please bop it with a like. You know what the red subscribe button's for. You can hit that if you want. Ding the bell so that you get notified of new videos if you'd like to. And I will see you next time with the next one, super friends. Please take care. Bye for now.